Wow, this is so hideous. I cannot believe what I'm actually looking at right here. Look at this. Look at that right there. There's the shingle. It's got a tear. What's it do? It goes over the pipe flashing. All right, if you guys can look at this right now between these two pipe boots here, let me know what you think is doing wrong. Well, I guess I just said right there at the beginning of the video, that was installed from whoever did this roof when this roof was put on. This, however, was from an HVAC company that came in and put a brand new furnace in. Several things done wrong here. One, the obvious, you can see they just shot a lot of nails right through the face and real close to the actual flashing. You don't ever shoot that close. I can't even get my pinky finger in between there without covering some of the nail. They literally shot the corner, and the problem is water hits this and diverts over. But wait, back up, back it up. You don't ever put your roof flashing down to the roof deck and shingle over it. It's finally failed, and water's running in under the roof, under all of the shingles and dripping in different areas into the house here. So in this video, we're gonna take out some shingles here, replace the two pipe boots. If you're new to the channel, my name is Brian. I share what I know here at Grand Roofing for you guys, the DIYers, the people that just want to learn. So if you could on the way and give it a quick thumbs up. This will be an uncut video. There might be some cuts just for the fact of changing batteries in the GoPro, but unedited to the extent of, hey, he just jumped way ahead. So if you like it, you get any benefit out of it, possibly subscribe at the end of this if it's earned your subscription. Greatly appreciate it. Let's get into it. Some of the things you're gonna need: fly bar, hammer, basic hand tools, knives to cut it out. We're putting two new aluminum pipe boots in. Got a smaller one, which is a 1.5 to 3 for the smaller boot. The bigger one, we have a 3 to a 4. You can buy them size specific. Most of them nowadays are going to come where they're like got a little score line where you can actually cut them. Throughout, if I can remember when I edit this video, put it into, well, not edit it, but render it all together. Descriptions, or in the description section, links to various things. You don't need to have a DeWalt air nailer or battery operated nailer like that. Good old trusty hand nail, hammer, or an AJC mag hatchet. They both do the trick for a little work. If you're a contractor, I'd recommend it. I have scrap ice and water, so if we need it, we've got it. And of course, shingles to replace it, because these, one, are shot to crap. There's tear marks in them. And I thought there's another tear right here, obviously the one under it. So we're gonna get into the video here. Battery power is kind of low, so like I said, I might need to cut just to put a new battery in, but let's get into it. A typical repair like this, I could knock these both out within 30 minutes or so. It's probably gonna be about an hour or a little less just for the commentary, narration, things like that. So let's get into it. I'll do my best actually, try to make sure the work site is in frame here, and a sealer to seal it when you're done. All right, so it's actually pretty easy. Don't let people fool you thinking, you know, it's terrible, it's so difficult, so hard, you can't do it yourself. Just start splitting out the shingles, seal strips from wherever you're going to take your pipe boot out. So this shingle, obviously, these 3 are damaged. The 4th one down here, because it goes over and it's torn. So these 4 rows are going to take out. We're replacing both of them. Even though this one isn't bad, its seal could be compromised because it's got some age on it, so they're so close, we're just going to do them both. But just start splitting it apart. If it's hard, just slowly work it. You don't want to tear and damage the shingles. Like right here, you can see it wanting to kind of tear that thin area. Just jump over somewhere and try to get back up under it from another side and try to work back to that spot. Typically that helps so you don't tear the shingles and damage them. If you tear it and damage it, not the end of the world. You just have to take the next one up above it to replace the one you damaged. But it could be a vicious cycle of just constantly taking the next one out. Next thing you know, you've done a whole section. You can cut smaller pieces in as long as the offset is okay. There's no nails in the wrong spot. I do, however, like to go to a split or a factory edge of a shingle, just because it comes out a lot easier than trying to lift up here. Well, this is still stuck down. It doesn't want to flex. The shingles I'm replacing, if you tear those, not a big deal. It's what you're going to take loose. So this row here to get this shingle out. You don't want to damage this. These doesn't really matter. So let me just get into it, then I'll show you. It'll make more sense to you. It started to want to get away right there. To the factory edge, it makes it easier to get this one out or loose. Now we're ready to start popping nails. Just get up and find out where those nails are, pop it so it raises it up, push the shingle down, get on the nail, pull it out. Just repeat that process until you get all the nails out. or you can remove the shingle. So this first row is actually removing the nails of the headlap of this shingle. This shingle's not actually coming out. You don't want to put nails in a keyway like that one right there. We will put a bib on that, seal it. So what I'm talking about, lifting here to get these nails out, how it slowly slopes down to where it's sealed. If you were to just finish splitting that seal strip to the end where the two come together, that's where this can now lift a lot easier all the way to that end, because it can immediately drop off. It's not flexing down, if that makes sense. And I did confirm with the homeowner, this is a new furnace system that was put in by the HVAC company that did the actual pipe boot up on the roof. It was not the same company that, however, was in a video recently, a week or two ago, where they were dumping all the exhaust carbon monoxide and everything right up into the attic. It wasn't them. So apparently there's more than one company in town that's doing some subpar work. Alright, so this row can just be torn out. As you go, make sure you're getting all your nails pulled, because if they're raised up over the course of a summer or two, the hot weather, the shingles that you put in will just literally pop holes right through it. Pick up some of these nails as I go so I'm not kneeling on them. Instead of buying a whole new bundle for this lady, I told her I'd get the new pipe boots, and I had some in stock. So I do have a partial bundle of Owens Corning Duration, Driftwood, as well as Oak Ridge. I got 4 of each shingles, I believe. It should be more than enough to do this, but I do want to just point out to those right now, there's always going to be those people you can't please. They're always going to try to make themselves look better and be like, oh, he's using different material, whatever the case may be. So just point that out real fast. Yes, I know. Somebody did put ice and water in and around this one. Super sticky. Somebody commented on a video I think I just released recently as well about not putting ice and water around the vent. And although it sounded like he was being nice about it, just kind of pointing it out, and actually complimented the workmanship, he was just pointing that out. I do want to say, based on where you live and the temperature, if you were to put ice and water down on a boot in the wintertime, it's not going to activate, it's not going to stick. Then it just acts as a capillary action and just water wicks around. So when it's summer, yes, I'll put ice and water under, over, make a sandwich out of it, I think is what the comment was, that I didn't do it. But different temperatures can dictate how things I do change throughout the time of the year. There's actually somebody from the manufacturer was talking to me about that too. He's like, wait a minute, you don't put ice and water on? And I was explaining to him time of year whether I go under, over, both, or not at all. So again, to clarify, if there's any confusion, if it's cold out, it won't stick. It won't bond to this. That's when I'll actually use tar around the flange. You can see the difference how the roofer put the shingles under, rule of thumb, past the back side of the pipe, then the flashing boot, then the shingles. You can see the HVAC guy here, however, put it to the roof, put the shingles back. I don't know what their thought process was, or if they were even using their brain or just kind of on some kind of, I don't know. And you can see what's going on right here. Clearly see the water coming down, hitting the top of the shingle running off the flange. That's why if you're going to have this break lower than the back side of the pipe, meaning here where you see it versus under higher, like this, water comes off onto a shingle. If your pipe is down low and it comes off, it's going to get your roof deck. In this case, they straight up went over the whole thing. Yeah, I can't believe it. I don't get it. Roofing is really not hard. There's another comment somebody had said, basic common sense. They're like, if you're a roofer, but they were having a hard time following. And I don't mean it in like a, well, you know, it's common sense, it should be easy for you to understand. Common sense meaning rain falls out of the sky, hits an object, gravity pulls it down. If it's lapped backwards, it's going to run under. That's what I'm referring to as common sense. As far as the actual shingling, I mean, it's pretty simple. Obviously, I've done it for 24 years. It's like second nature. But after the first, I don't know, few weeks of being up on the roof, it's pretty simple. There's not much more to know. So that's what I was trying to refer to as. It's not like going to get a degree in aeronautical engineering and building something you're going to send people to the moon on. You know, that's what I'm getting at. There's another nail right smack dab in the keyway right there. Not good. We'll address that too. This is a repair. At some point, you're going to have to stop your repair work and then let the original roof install take over. Okay, you got to go a little farther here. Shit, tore that shingle a little bit. Now, if I were to slice that all the way down, as long as you're not cutting the shingle under it and there's no nail under it or keyway near that, that's no different than a factory drip edge right here, a factory groove. So I'm going to finish popping this free right here. Clearly, there's no keyway above it or right below it. So as long as there's no nail right there, that is no different than having a seam right there. Get this nail here. One more hidden right there. All right, just about ready to get this opened up so you can see what all I'm talking about here. And I'm going to check the battery, make sure we're still good on power. Possibly have to switch it out. Yeah, GoPro's in view. Alright, so right here, you could go out to here, but I want to show you what you can do. It's totally fine. Split that just a little bit. We're going to make sure there's a nail right there. So there's a nail right here and a nail right here. So kind of in the middle of that, right down the edge of that. We're going to cut this just to show you what you can do if you need to for some reason. This doesn't have to be done right now. We're going to cut straight down the shingle. Don't cut your work under it. That's why sometimes you'll see a flat bar under it, because even if I'm pushing hard, and in the summer it's so easy to cut your work underneath it, but with a flat bar under it, you're not going to cut your shingle under it. And sometimes when I can't reach up, say the shingle's here, I'll reach under, cut what I can, get that notch right here, and just bump that the rest of the way up. And it tears your shingle. It's a little trick that kind of helps in some cases. But if you need to offset something, that's something you can do. And then this edge here, is fine. This shingle is going to go under that once it's out. Get this one out. There's another nail right here, it felt like. Yeah, right under this. Let's get that out. This one broke free. We will put a bib on that. The wood here is still solid. I was in the attic and checked this out. I did a very short video on plumbing and how this rolled under on itself because they put the strap to hold the pipe back a little far, in my opinion. They could have easily come right near the elbow to hold the weight of this pipe rising up about 6 feet. Instead, they brought it back about 2 or 3 feet. The weight has pulled it down, which rolled that seal under, which can cause a leak in itself because water hits this and is staying stuck in that. And if it's loose, it just funnels it right in. All right, got the pipes free, or the pipe boots free. Twist this up. We're gonna check the GoPro power real quick. Let's see what my screen says. It doesn't show. We're 14. We're gonna just check it regularly because I don't know if I have any other batteries. This is an impromptu. Let's just work this one in. All right, so we're all good. prepped, nails are cleaned up, loose, or nothing sticking up. This is nasty. Get this one out. Don't ever want to nail that close. You can see all the dirty water trail running around this over the years. You don't want penetrations in those areas. You shoot the outer edges, and on the bottom that's visible, you don't shoot the very bottom or the very outer edge, because if your shingle, if there's this much exposed, shoot that edge, water can get under this lap right here, get in under the shank of the nail. So I like to pull my nails up and in under where the water's diverted. But I do nail it because raccoons will lift on these, winds will lift it and blow under. There's a lot of things that I do and don't do for reasons. So that's kind of why I help talk through what I'm doing, why I do it, to help you guys. Like I said earlier, go through visually real quick, make sure you're not missing any nails, because you're going through all this trouble right now and it's really easy to miss one nail that's raised up just a little bit. Your new shingles on it, heat up, break through. Very simple to do. It's all prepped, good. Good, nothing sticking up. My little handle on magnets in the truck. I'm just gonna use my mag hatchet here. Get these up real quick. If you appreciate these videos, something you could do so I know it, just drop into the comments section real quick while I'm getting these. Let me know where you're watching from. It's nice to read through the comments and see where you're watching from, how it's helped you if you're a homeowner. I noticed the most when big storms hit regions like the coastline, hurricanes or whatever. Contractors are booked up and backed up so far that homeowners just have no other option but to do the things themselves, or they're tight on funds because of inflation, and this stuff does help them. So if you could, like I said, just give it a quick thumbs up. Let me know where you're watching from. Greatly appreciate it. The battery's getting down there. This is a good point. I will stop right here, switch the GoPro out. We'll jump right back up when I get a new battery in for you guys right here. All right, I'm back. I went through 3 batteries in this set right here, and they're all dead. So hopefully I can get it done on this battery I got. All right, let's get back to it. So everything's good prepped. You made sure nails, everything's cleaned down, ready to go. We're gonna start by putting some additional security. Ice and water. Way too many people think ice and water is a cure-all fix. It doesn't matter what you do on the rest of what you're doing, it's gonna be perfect, and that's the furthest thing from the truth. Ice and water has its place. It's not needed. Go about this far right here. As I said earlier about it not sticking, it's warm enough now, even though I'm wearing a long john shirt, it will start sticking. Although it's not going to stick right away. It's supposed to be about 70 is the high today. So this will activate. If it were winter time, I'd still use it on anything under, but if it's over that capillary action, I would not do it. So right here, we're gonna go up under that edge over here just a little bit. I'm gonna trim any low hanging pieces off. We're gonna split around the pipe right here. Just cut that. The main thing what this is for, when your pipe is on, if anything comes off, it's on something that's going to run out back onto the top row of a shingle. Then I need a flat bar to pop these right here. Ice and water, it's real goopy under that. We'll see if we can get around not doing that. Okay, good. We're gonna start with one shingle under the bottom here to get it up ready for this first pipe boot on the left here. So what you're gonna do is just butt this up on your shingle right here. So your build up, and then your left and right fits here, fits here. If it's long, you can trim it. If it's short, you'll cut it and then install a new piece. It's supposed to be windy today. It hasn't quite started picking up yet, but definitely want to avoid stuff blowing everywhere and hitting cars or people. Hook blades are nice if you got two sets. That way you can just hook from the top side, cut in the back bottom side of a shingle like this. The sharp straight blade scores right through it, works good. There's another battery. It's the one I took out. It's 25% or so. We're gonna set that aside if I need it. All right, shoot this. I'm gonna add another scrap piece of ice and water to bib across that nail hole that's there. This nail hole right here, it doesn't go far enough to get past that, and just to be safe, it's got a little bib there. It's a bigger boot. The reason I like these is they are aluminum, and that's what one of the comments said. He said steel and enamel coated. It's actually a powder coated, baked on aluminum. It is not steel. I do not like steel. No magnet sticking to that. It's not steel. The reason I don't like steel is they rust over time. I like the aluminum because of that. And now lead, obviously better, but around my area where those curl into this, the squirrels will chew that bond. I don't know, they're trying to wear their teeth down or what. Tip on when you're trying to do this by yourself, don't push down on the pipe, because these sometimes go down and branch off and you can crack them, so just work it around it. Careful on how much force you're actually pushing down on it. Then you can just twist it to help get that down. That nail's so close there, that's why I didn't want to leave it unaddressed. You also don't want to push your pipe boot, more pressure on the pipe to get it aligned right. You want it to rest natural, because you're pushing on that, it will eventually wear wherever you're putting a lot of force in your gasket. So let it rest natural, keep it straight, and then to shoot it off. So this is plenty high up. Even if water does come straight left, it's going to be on the shingle. If this were down a little low, that's where I would put the bib, what I call it. Nothing more than another piece of ice and water. Under here, like this, under that shingle, so it's not visible. That way, if anything comes off, it comes out onto a shingle. That's high enough up, it's gonna be fine. Since I have this right here and handy, we're gonna add it. Ooh, it almost fit. Actually, we're gonna split it. Normally I wouldn't do this, but I just want to show you guys. It's definitely not gonna hurt it, other than getting it out in the future. It's gonna be a sticky mess. As far as shooting your flashing flange, the top corners, top center, please don't start acting up now. These cheap coil nails, the copper barbs, get stuck when the plunger only retracts from a spring pulling it back, so it doesn't have a lot of force. Some of the coils I've got are junk, and those copper barbs are, it's not actually copper, it's like steel with a copper coating, and they don't break real easy. But anyway, you just want to shoot that down. Now on the edge, nowhere near here do I nail. If you're going to do it on the bottom edge, do it up high enough so water doesn't go off into it, and then don't where it's visible on the bottom or top. So right here, you can shoot one here, you can do two. I try to keep them in and up. Just doing that to show you. It's down from wind-driven rain getting under it, raccoons lifting up on it, because they do. And right here, fine too if you wanted. Doing it just to show you it's not really needed. Just do not do it on the edge. This pipe boot, however, it's not ready to go on yet, because the rule of thumb is getting up past the back side of the pipe. They didn't even do that. I just want to show you what it looks like if you do it now or under the next, like I'm gonna do. 2-inch pipe. We're gonna actually cut this. Just use a sharp straight blade or a hook to cut it, puncture it, and then you can just peel it around that. Hold your pipe, stretch it on there. This one especially because it goes down and over a few feet where it's strapped. So right now, some people will do this and hide that. Why I don't like that, again, even though you have this here, you don't want water getting stuck under your roof. It can over time divert and miss this. That's why I want to go under one more. It's perfectly fine to have part of your flashing flange show. So we're gonna go over this, under this. Butt this up to the left and to the right, make sure we're good. We are. Going under, we're just gonna mark the edges of the pipe right here, right here, right here. Put it on your buildup right here, your reveal. You're just gonna kind of eyeball how high you're gonna go with this. You can always trim it if you need again, so don't just get careless and start slicing it wherever. Take that up just a little bit. So I can just look, see it's a 1/4 inch down and it's hitting right there, so we're just gonna trim about a 1/4 inch here. That's good. And then for this side, we're gonna kind of do the same thing but in reverse. We're gonna butt it here, and then we're going to measure straight up the edge here, giving a little bit of room for a channel for water to drip. So we're just gonna mark the left side and about a 1/4 inch over the right side. I like to mark the center. Put it back on your buildup so you know roughly how high you're cutting. From that center one, I like to cut the center about that high, and it makes it easier to relieve around. These strips are kind of a pain to cut. It'll relieve this a little bit so you can start making this cut around it. About a 1/2 inch or so, so we're gonna just kind of eyeball it about a 1/2 inch. Try not to score your pipe flashing under that. And you're just gonna come down to your mark right here. Like I said, you can always re-trim this if you need. I just try not to go too loose, make a mess of things, and leave it. If you cut it too big, I like to replace it. And our kind of final trim here. That looks pretty good. I'll trim that with a sharp straight blade. And rock it up under there, over that. There. We're just going to add a real nice big wide pass here. Shoot this one off. So what this is going to do is going to, one, fill these holes or cover those holes, as well as the seam. I try to, when I'm doing an install of a roof, I'll never try to keep a seam close to a pipe boot. It's easy. What you could do is trim this back so it breaks underneath or past the edge of the flange, and then whatever scrap you're dealing with that's left over, you'll start that to keep your course, your run back to the way it was, if that makes sense. Get that shoved under your flange. Pipe rest normal. It's not going anywhere. We're gonna add another nail there once I know where this breaks. So that breaking there is fine. I'll be able to put another piece in the back top side over the flange is fine. It's the side here you don't want to do it at. That'll be a piece so I can nail here now. The reason I didn't nail there yet is if I need to put a cut here, there was no nail there. Line up here. It's making a noise I've never heard before. It's interesting. It's almost like there was a fan cooling it. Oh, no, what I'm hearing is that furnace kicked on. I've got a bad ear. All right, so right here, kind of coming off of where this is right here, and then you know that we're at the height we need to be. You got to cut up that much total with your radius to the top center. So you just want to kind of eyeball it. It's perfectly fine. Try not to cut your work underneath. And drop it down. We're close. Needs a little more trimming. That one's good. And then this one. These sure nail strips, they're tough, but what I don't like with them, once you get a piece loose, it peels off the shingle very easy. And why that's not a good thing when it's a top seal, yeah, it's going to keep your nails from pulling through, but if the seal strip sticks to this and that peels up, it can come off of your shingle. There you go, that one's good, ready to go in. So if you wanted to do your pipe boot flashing with ice and water over it, it's very similar. All you got to do is get it up here. Just trim basically the same thing right here. As long as you don't go down past where it's going to be revealed, that will stick. As I said earlier, it's starting to stick now with the temperature and the sun we have. What I say, it's not required if it's done right. Way too many people nowadays just think if they put ice and water on something, it's not going to leak, and that is wrong. That's not the way ice and water is designed, or it's not what it's designed to do. It's just mean be sloppy with your work. As far as that piece that's hanging down, I'm just trying to score it to get it out of there. And then this one right here as well. On this one here, typically if it's cold in winter, I'll put a little bead of that sealer, the blackjack stuff under there. It's perfectly fine. I did put the bibs under it. It's not gonna be a problem. I'm just showing you different things in this video. Yeah, it's kind of funny because everybody out there on YouTube is pretty much a pro, they say, but they don't really, well, let me rephrase that. All the people commenting are a pro, that I don't know what I'm doing, that their way's right, but yet they have no content to show anything they're talking about is being legitimate or not. See where this next one breaks here. So I never try to say this way or the highway that I'm always right. I'm just trying to show you based on facts and evidence. And there's a nail sticking up under there I must have missed. I felt something with my hand. You can use your determination if what I'm doing makes sense logically or not. Yep, I did miss one. I didn't see it way up in there. That's what I'm talking about, that little nail. If I would have neglected it, because way too many roof installers or repairmen just don't pay attention to a little detail like that. Actually, I think there's one more. I didn't see you up under there. I must have missed under that shingle there. That they would just turn a blind eye to it. But that right there, I've seen leaks caused because of that. There, now it slid in real easy. So you don't want to nail in this vicinity here. So just make sure you don't nail that. Or anywhere under where two shingles come together. So that one's done. And then we're gonna go over on this shingle that we took loose to get the headlap of that one replaced out. The last one I did was right here. That's it. That one was never split. These two shingles. And that's all the duration I had. So we're gonna need two. It's the same color, but it's Oak Ridge. We're just gonna butt this to that right here. We're gonna cut this to size left and right. Less than a full shingle, I can finish nailing it. I just always try to anticipate an area if I need to actually put a butt joint in, or a drip groove, or keyway, factory edge, whatever you want to refer to it as. You do want to try to keep just a small channel within those for the water to run through too. If you're doing like a box vent or something around a flange, anywhere you have a top corner of a shingle, say the box vent where water diverts, you always want to nip this because water can catch that and run laterally. So all that looks like with a blade is just slice out like that. So if water diverts around, say at a box vent here, and it caught that, it's not going to go up against gravity, it's going to follow down. But if it were catching a point like this right here, surface tension, it'll run laterally a little ways. So it's just something else to point out real quick. Let's get nail here on top. I don't want to nail this edge here because I'm getting close to that. One more shingle right there. The other thing I did clearly point out to this homeowner that it was repaired. You're going to see the difference in the shingle because these are old. Not that they're faded, there's granule loss and there's blue-green algae up on these, so you will see the repair here. But ultimately you want your leak stopped. Hopefully this is a good coil nail. That's it, that's sealed. All right, we're basically almost done with this now. Let me see if I'm still rolling here. Yep, still good. Power's good. Just doing a battery check. The last thing that really need to do, oh, I gotta cut that real quick. That's it. Get some of that old stuff off there. There we go. Still trying to burn through the last little bit of cheap roof sealant tar. In the winter time, this stuff actually sticks. It doesn't get hard like the GEOCEL brand 4500 that I like to use. That's usually what I use on new roof installs and everything. When you're doing repairs in the winter time, it doesn't want to come out very easy. It doesn't want to flow. This stuff still will, as well as if it's going to be dewy, frosty, rainy, whatever, this will work, whereas the GEOCEL products need to be dry. So we're just going to put a very small little bit over the nail heads here. You won't see it, it'll seal it. People are like, oh, that's terrible, that's wrong. At some point, you usually have, like right up there, this roof she said was installed in, I think she said 2005. No, I don't know when she said it was, but you can see this is still up here. Sometimes people will shoot their last piece, put sealer down, and put a cap over it. Some people face nail and seal it, whatever. Point being, I want to drive home here. It's so high up on the roof, what rain hits this right here is the only spot that's going to see rain. Whereas if you have a nail head down here shining and exposed, it's magnified. So 1 inch of rain, all right, 1 inch rain gauge, you're only going to get like the equivalent of 1 square inch times 3 inches above it. Whereas if it's down here, 1 inch of rain is going to be magnified all the inches you have up here. So even a light rain hitting it magnifies on its way down to get that. Point being, that sees very little water. In relation to right here, splits around, it sees very little water hidden behind these flashing flanges. Again, I'm not saying that I'm a know-it-all or my way is the only way. I'm just simply pointing out facts and things for you guys, the viewer, to make your judgment call. Does what Brian at Grand Roofing says make any sense, or does this hill jack whatever in the comment section that has absolutely no content say what I'm doing is wrong makes any valid sense? You decide, you let me know down below in the comment section. I greatly appreciate you taking a minute to do that. Let me know, as well as where you're watching from. So the last couple things to wrap up on this. Spot this one. That's trimmed. Even though these are new, they will seal down when they start getting heat. It's a bottom seal, so this will stick to that, that will stick to that. In the winter time, or if you're expecting winds, it may take a little time to seal down, especially in winter. Today, some sun, 70, that'll start activating. Honestly, if I just show you by pushing down on that right now, it's already starting to stick. Is it sealed down permanently? No, but it's starting to stick. I just want to point that out. Now, this will never seal again. You've broken and compromised the seal strip. Those are the most important parts. I've seen a lot of repair work over the years. I've gone back to fix other contractors doing a repair for whatever the case, whether it's flashing, missing shingle, they'll tuck it under the shingle that was left from the old that was okay, never sealed it, and then that blows more loose. And those guys, jokingly or serious, I don't know, I don't really care, oh, it's job security. That's not job security. That's being a scammy, conny, worthless piece of crap. Whereas if you just do good quality work and you take a second with a few brain cells and be like, hey, that could blow loose, and you seal it, then you start building a brand and a reputation, something that can carry on a long time down to the future. That's what I'm trying to do here with Grand Roofing. That's also why I share this here with you guys. People look up stuff, they see me like, oh wow, he's in my area, so are all these other companies, but he shows his stuff. He's out there, he's very public, whereas half the other companies don't show anything. Do you want to trust what they're going to do? I mean, again, I do this for you guys. Anyways, let's wrap up. So, whatever sealer you want to use, it doesn't take a lot, just a few dabs. And where I put those is near an edge, so a dab, or where nail heads are, because if you look at this, where I just put it on those couple nails, that sealer is going to stick this shingle to that shingle where a nail is. If your nails are, say, here and here, and you put a dab here, it's going to lift ever so slightly over time. You want to put the sealer where the nails are, not to seal the nails, but to hold the shingle down when it bonds. And you don't want to put a solid line across everything, especially here, because water will get in right here. Let me show you here. So water will get in over time on this. You don't nail there. If you put a seam of sealer under there, water gets in here, hits that, and then runs laterally into nails and things you don't want. Or worse, over into another keyway. So just dabs is all it takes, and near corner edges. You'll need to do that to any shingle seal that you broke free. Seal that. There's a nail somebody had in the keyway. There's a nail hole right there in that keyway. I am sealing it, but I'm not relying on the sealer because this shingle here goes up past that. And I'll show you that. Right in that keyway was a nail hole I took out. Even if I didn't seal it, this shingle is in here now. Right here on the buildup, that's what you're seeing. This is under it. It crosses over where that nail hole was. I'm just sealing it to be safe, but it has a solid shingle under that. Couple more right here. That's sealed. I never broke that seal strip free. These are probably already starting to stick. That little edge right here. That little edge here. And check down this edge here. It's stair step to the right, so these overlap. They'll stick. These are sealed. Right there, got it. That's pretty much it right there. Let's see where we're at. 30 minutes on this battery, and I think it was 20 minutes on the first battery, so we're close to an hour here. Please, if you got any benefit out of it, give it a quick thumbs up, comment below. It's not really for me, it's to help YouTube recognize this is valuable content out there to give to those people, recommend it to a larger batch of people that may be looking up how to save money and do this. By the way, speaking of, I try not to get into the money side of things too much, but let me know if you're a homeowner and had a similar repair like this, whether it's one boot or two boots that are close. This is basically one repair. I wasn't going to look at this and be like, well, I'm going to fix this and stagger this out and leave that one. They're so close. One shingle gets to both those. I did both of them. Let me know what experience you have, how much it costs, whether it's maybe you just say, oh, I had 3 shingles fixed out in my roof and it was X number of dollars, or I had a pipe boot or a box vent or a chimney flashing, what it costs, as well as where you're watching from. Reason being is markets vary dramatically. Even right here in Kokomo, what a repair would cost versus just an hour south into Indianapolis, Carmel, Westfield, Noblesville areas. So just something fun to see, to read. I'm not a huge company. I've grown rather good. When you're going up against companies that have crazy marketing budgets or reputations 50 years plus, it's hard to get trust, although I've built up over 200 5-star reviews. Some things I will do for a lower price if I'm not busy, or because Kokomo's market price is beat down. As well as you do that for enough people, word gets out, like, hey, he didn't want to touch it because he didn't want to, you know, he wanted to make a killing. Brian on Grand Riffing did it, saved me a ton of money, did a reasonable price, did a great job, and documented it. So it's just something fun to read, let other people see. So, all right, until next time, be safe, and we'll see you on the next one.